So for those of you guys that are fans of Call of Duty, the last 48 hours or so have been absolutely insanely busy with information to take in and to try and understand to the best of our abilities. That said, I am a little bit late on some of this stuff because there is just that sheer amounts of how much has been coming out, not only for World War II with DLC 4 and the new update and everything like that, but also in terms of Black Ops 4, we got a little bit more information on some of how the weapons will work here. And so my apologies that this is late, but that's why we're doing an earlier upload here today. I'm probably gonna have a second video later tonight on this, but I wanted to detail this and break down and explain these signature weapons that were debuted as of yesterday and give you the lowdown on everything you need to know and break it down to the point where it should be simple understanding at this point, because at first glance this can be a little bit confusing, but essentially we have an awesome way for weapon customization and weapon progression coming within Black Ops 4 that we are finally just made aware of as of yesterday. So that said, let's just jump into it. I mentioned the term signature weapons. Now this was something that was officially announced via Treyarch as of yesterday, and they're cosmetic only weapon variants in Black Ops 4. Now this might sound weird because we have not seen anything up until yesterday on weapon variants, and the only slight hint that we ever saw out of this was a few days back as a part of a Blackout leak that we covered here up on the channel. It was the first mention of variants at any point in Black Ops 4 thus far, and as with any unconfirmed report or information or leak that comes out, we gotta take it with a grain of salt. But I think that those variants were hinting at these signature weapons that we just saw right now. And I think that there was a reason this information for variants was held off, because variants aren't the variants that would maybe consider variants as of recent times. It's a lot of times to say variants, but essentially if we take a look at how variants are going to progress in Black Ops 4 versus how they have been within, say, World War II, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, none of those are going to equate out to what we end up seeing in Treyarch's Black Ops 4, because there's way more to do with these variants in Black Ops 4 than that of what we've had in previous years. What was detailed to us out of the official press release from Treyarch ended up detailing earnable, challenge-based items that are much more ornate and, of course, absolutely badass looking skins on weapons, and they give a ton more to do with the weapon variants as such. Now, of course, there's probably going to be supply drops, but they may have a hell of a lot more to do now with these signature weapons compared to what we saw in, say, World War II, Infinite Warfare, and Advanced Warfare, where you get a weapon variant and cool, that's kind of it. You can play around with it, and even more so specifically for World War II, since it is cosmetic only, you only get those weapon variants and you're like, okay, cool, I got something new to play around with visually. But Black Ops 4 looks to take that to the entirely next level, because if each variant has a signature weapon, that means that every variant earned in supply drops would have challenges and upgrades associated with it, and that's just mad cool to me. But regardless, Treyarch summed up these signature weapons pretty well in their press release. It says, for the first time in a Call of Duty game, Black Ops 4 will introduce signature weapons. These are cosmetic variations of the base weapons in Black Ops 4, each with their own challenges and rewards. Signature weapons do not have any game-altering stats and perform exactly like their base weapon counterparts. The beauty of signature weapons is in the additional layers of depth that they add to the game's progression with their individual challenges. These challenges must be completed in order to unlock additional cosmetic rewards for that weapon, with the final being a Mastercraft variant of the signature weapon. Signature weapons are the most badass looking weapons in Black Ops 4, and a badge of honor for the battle-hardened players that have invested their time to achieve Mastercraft versions. So again, there's a lot to process there, so a quick summary. They're cosmetic only, as we stated. Every weapon has a signature weapon, and of course, maybe there's even more, and we'll touch on why in just a second. Signature weapons also have challenges and rewards associated with it, which each set of challenges comes with each weapon. Now, completing all those challenges will give you the Mastercraft version, which is a brand new thing we just learned about in that press release of the signature weapons. So think like dark matter for weapon skins instead of camos. I'm not entirely sure just how in-depth it will be, if it's an ungodly challenge for some people like dark matter was, or if it's something like gold leopard and gold cheetah, where you have to essentially just prestige your weapon and then end up after so many prestiges doing a small challenge associated with it with, say, multi-kills or something like that. But essentially that level of grind for a Mastercraft weapon. But we'll be getting exclusive skins for challenge-based rewards out of this. So you can continue to level up your signature weapon until you end up getting to the Mastercraft version, where it's just insanely cool looking. So that said, here's the difference with Mastercraft and signature weapons. Signature is the base variant, something that you can end up getting just say out of a supply drop, out of a contract maybe. Mastercraft is after the challenges that you complete and are the super upgraded versions compared to the signature base. What's a great summary of this this is a brand new promo from GameStop for a pre-order pistol, the Divinity Signature variant of the Strife pistol. You can see that you get the base Divinity weapon from pre-ordering the game at GameStop, which I think is the only way as of now. So if you want to take advantage of this and the Mastercraft, a pre-order from GameStop is unfortunately the only way you'll be able to get this one. But you get the Divinity at the base, but after you upgrade it, you get the Divine Justice, which is insanely cool looking, completely gold kitted out and all. And that's our first real look at a Mastercraft weapon, because while Treyarch ended up detailing what was an MX9 signature weapon, that is just the base, which is absolutely insane. And a cool little fun thing also thrown in the mix here for this is that whenever you take a look at this MX9 signature variant, is that if you've pre-ordered Black Ops 4 in either the Digital Deluxe Edition, Digital Deluxe Enhanced Edition, the Pro Edition, or the Mystery Box Edition, you'll get that MX9 that is in the thumbnail and some of what we've shown on screen already. You'll get that on day one of Black Ops 4. So that's something, of course, obviously awesome to take advantage of, and I'm really curious to see how this looks as a Mastercraft weapon, because that thing already looks insanely awesome. But regardless, if you end up pre-ordering any of those editions, you'll have this on day one, and you can start that Mastercraft grind right off the bat. You don't need any supply drops, you don't need anything in terms of any other specific pre-orders. You can end up getting the MX9 Mastercraft maybe even on day one, depending on the challenges themselves. But that said, we talked about the possibility of more signature weapons and more Mastercrafts. Right now, we only have detailed that there is potentially one, but that just seems kind of wrong for each weapon. So I would imagine that we end up seeing a sort of expansion on the variant system we already know within World War II, where overall you may have, say, 5 to 10 variants per weapon, but right now we only have detailed a few of those, a handful that we will see at launch, but maybe even some more thrown in after launch and everything considered. But that said, this would then end up allowing for a lot more variation, a lot more customization, and a lot of challenges to go into different Mastercrafts. Kind of circling back to the comments made earlier in the video, it's inevitable that supply drops will make their way back into Black Ops 4. And right off the bat, I already have higher hopes for this game than Black Ops 3's system, where personally I think that Black Ops 3's system of supply drops was the worst in the game, having weapons with no variants or anything like that, but strictly DLC weapons only in supply drops with no sort of barriers to break off into different sections of loot. It was all one massive loot pool with thousands of items, and you had the chance of getting dupes as is. But whenever we take a look at, say, just even the last two titles of Modern Warfare Remastered and World War II, those were a lot better with collections in the way that things worked out there, because you had segmented items and not as much of a pool for each of them, and you could also chip away at specific things that you wanted. But also I'm more hopeful because of the increasingly relevant info from the leaks that we've seen already that indicate that we'd end up getting events as early as Halloween, just 2 weeks after launch of Black Ops 4, with themed and timed items. So with the introduction of signature and Mastercraft weapons, I have even higher hopes now, because each variant's earned out of supply drops, if it even follows remotely like what we saw with World War II and Modern Warfare Remastered, with supply drops segmented, and each collection you could end up chipping away at specific items you wanted. This would add even more in terms of that with signature and Mastercraft weapons, because you don't just have throwaway items then. It's not just a variant you look at and say, oh, that looks cool. You can actually do something with those. You actually have a reason to go and use and unlock those variants, because there's also a challenge that allows you to get even higher versions of that. So you have the ability to actually take those supply drops and those variants so much further in terms of just replayability, and it's another badge of honor on top of whatever camo challenges or uniform challenges there are as top dog this year, like a Dark Matter, like a Chrome camo, like a Chrome Tiger. All those sort of things will still always be there, but we'll also have these new variants that allow us to have even cooler variations of those variants. So when all is said and done, if you grind out for all sorts of Mastercraft variants on each weapon variants out there, whether it be via unlocked challenges or supply drop weapons, well, then your armory may be an absolutely huge showcase by the year's end. So ultimately, when all things are said and done, of course, there's going to be still some things that people don't necessarily like with supply drops and weapon variants in those supply drops, but honestly, I think that this is still progressively getting better as time goes forward, because while there still will be variants and in supply drops and challenges and collections, it'll at least make them worth using and kind of give them a purpose other than, say, just throwing them aside. I know there's so many variants in World War II even in particular that I have that are just cosmetic only that I've never touched, and sometimes I'll even use just a base default over them. So in that sense, it's just a progression in how the variant system is being treated in development, and for this one, I think I'm okay with it as of right now. Maybe some more information comes out that changes my mind, But I think right now it's a pretty cool system, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all the Mastercrafts look like, let alone just the one that we have and the few signature variants we've already seen thus far. So that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Do you guys like the idea of Mastercraft and signature variants within Call of Duty Black Ops 4, or do you not necessarily care all that much for them? Are you guys maybe on the fence? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below if you guys did, and of course if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty Black Ops 4, anything in relation to updates, news, best class setups, tips, tricks. The Blackout beta is coming up right here on the horizon, so super excited for that one and can't wait to get my hands on that. We'll keep you guys up to date with all things Black Ops 4, and of course Call of Duty World War II still while that is active. So if any of that interests you, make sure that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And also if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram, a little more active there as well. So that link is down there for you guys to check out if you want to. But that said, hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.